Pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
So, hi, Luis.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Great. Well, everybody, I'm your host, Tatiana Prophet. I'm an award winning journalist, and I'm based in Los Angeles, California. And I have the honor of interviewing Luis Pozzolo, who is running for the Congressional District 7,
Mm-hmm.
which is along the border in Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
And so, why don't you? I know you're a naturalized citizen, and why don't you just start by telling me what made you decide to run?
Well, very good question. I'm a business person. I came to America 20 years ago. Left this country, became a citizen in 2010. Um, I've been living the American dream. I started from the scratch, dishwasher, was very successful in corporate America. I was director of operation. I was general manager. I was safety director. I live in three different states, Kentucky, Texas, and Arizona now. I've been here for 5 years. And seeing what is happening with this country, I escaped, I left a country who became socialist, and prosperity wasn't there anymore. Freedom wasn't there anymore. So I decided to, come to America, being successful. I work very hard for my citizenship. I pay all the fees. I follow all the processes. Here I am. I left corporate America. I opened my two businesses, small businesses in Arizona, and I see what is happening. I see the economics are not there anymore. Gas prices are going up. Inflation is hurting everybody, and especially seeing the mess that we had with the election in November 2020, especially in Arizona. I have a lot of people been talking to me about running, and I say, no, I'm not interested. I'll talk about 2017, 2018, 2019. A lot of people was coming to my business and say, you have so much passion for this country. Why you don't run? I say, I'm not interested. I'm not a politician. I'm a business person. I love this country. I do promote, liberty and freedom every time I talk with people in my businesses, but that's it. But, like I said, November 2020, seeing what these people are doing, and basically, this is a flashback of what I saw back in Uruguay, when I left. So I took the decision to run. It wasn't an easy one. Get my family together, talk with my wife and my daughter, my close friends, and I said, "Hey, I think it is time for people like me to stand up and fight." I pick up Raúl Grijalva, especially because his record, what is happening in the border, seeing the poverty rate going up, see what fentanyl is doing to our communities. And I decided, this is a time to do it. It's not an easy task. It's very difficult to run, and especially for Congress
Right.
in a district, a very complex district like the one I'm running, with 82% of the border, the fentanyl issues we have. Raúl Grijalva have a machine that runs the district. Basically, his family and close friends are in specific positions. But it is what it is. I think we all the naturalized citizens and natural citizens need to fight for this country now.
Yes, and we're seeing quite a few Hispanics also running for office, and also from the Republican Party. I want to talk about Raúl Grijalva for a second. How long has he been in office?
Raúl has been in Congress for 20, but all his life, in different positions. He started board of supervisor of Pima County.
Uh-huh.
No, he started in school district first.
Oh, wow.
And after he went into a board of supervisors. So he's been all his life, 40, 50 years, in different offices, 20 in Congress. So he was elected in 2002.
And it doesn't seem like the district has gotten better, right?
No, absolutely not. The mess we have in the border, the fentanyl, especially, Tucson, what is the heart of the district, became, the epicenter for fentanyl overdose, poverty rates, especially in Tucson and Nogales, it's been increasing in the last 20 years. You know, criminality has been increasing. We don't have any more safe communities in the district. He refused to talk about the border. He refused to do any type of enforcement to stop, you know, the cartels to keep pushing more and more drugs in our communities and schools. You know, I was talking with the principal last weekend in Tucson in Convention Center. It was a back to school event. You know, she's been a principal for 20 years. And she said, Luis, it's so sad that my zip code is the epicenter for fentanyl overdose in the district. And I said, yeah, I know what is happening. I spent a lot of time in the border. We spend a lot of time walking the community, seeing the homeless community, for example, growing. A lot of people living in the streets. It's becoming a big problem in Tucson. Regina Romero, who is the mayor, is married with, Raul Grijalva's chief of staff.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's all in the family. And, yeah.
Right. Yeah, cronyism. And that sounds a lot like, you know, some more high profile districts like Nancy Pelosi's district and Maxine Waters' district, which I work in her district. Yeah. And but something that you had on your YouTube channel on your video really struck me. You said fentanyl. Was it overdoses or the amount of fentanyl that has come across the border in the last 2 years has grown even? Is that right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You know, I do a lot of recon. You know, I know a lot of people at the border. There are a lot of veteran groups. They just do recon. You know, they always tag to, oh, these are white supremacist group or they're militia. You know, it's always the same. You know, they always try to tag people so people get scared and walk away. We've been doing a lot of work in the last, 7-8 months at the border. I do a lot of recon at the cartel trails. And you can see that the cartels are getting more and more confident. Just yesterday, I got from Arizona Border Recon, 2 videos where you see the cartels, 2 guys from the cartels coming into American soil with guns, kidnapping people, and taking back to Mexico. I do have the videos, that I got it yesterday. The traffic is, yeah. And if you see here in Arizona, this administration decided to shut down all the checkpoints. So you have the border and you have the ports of entry with all the ports of entry from Mexico to Arizona are in CD7 in the district I'm running. But we did have 5 to 10 miles away from those ports of entries, border patrol checkpoints. Every border patrol checkpoint is being closed. Let's say the Yuma one was cutting maybe 50% of the meth coming into America from Mexico. Now that meth is, you find 150 pounds, 200 pounds in Gila Bend, South Phoenix, Casa Grande, Maricopa, is because that checkpoint is not there anymore. So, yeah, if you think about why you will shut down every checkpoint other than make the cartel's life easier.
It seems like the exact opposite of what they should be doing.
Absolutely.
Now, a border patrol checkpoint is kind of like, it's obviously not a port of entry. Is it like a temporary barrier that they put up on a road, basically?
Yes. Yeah, they do. They did have those checkpoints for years. You had the Yuma one, you had the Sasabe one, the Arivaca, you have the Cochise County. We had 2 in Cochise County. All of them are shut down. The Yuma, it's basically, the border, between Arizona and California and Mexico. In that corner, you get a lot of traffic. You're coming into the Nogales area, Nogales, Sasabe, that 80 miles there, that's epicenter for fentanyl. So because you have national forests, you have several gaps at the border wall. Those gaps are used for the cartels. Maybe they have 120 different trails, to walk their mules into Arizona. Yeah, those are maybe, I would say, 5 days hiking from the border to South Tucson. So the Arivaca and the Sasabe, checkpoints were making that more difficult. People, if they want to walk a day and a half, you can get into Arivaca and get somebody to transport you maybe into Tucson, what is maybe an hour 20 minutes. Well, that checkpoint is not there anymore. You just drive through that checkpoint.
Wow. That must be really hard to watch. It kind of reminds me of some of the decisions we've watched in other areas in our country. I mean, we've got the federal government, which is obviously what Raul Grijalva is a part of. I actually talked to Raul Grijalva in I think it was 2016. Do you remember when they had DACA Plus?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then Justice Scalia had already died. So yeah, it must have been 2016 because there were only 8 people on the Supreme Court. And I'm not sure, I think it was Texas that had challenged DACA Plus and DAPA.
Mm-hmm.
DAPA was going to be for any parents of Dreamers who had been, brought here when they were very young and don't really have any other country that they consider their own. So I was writing for a bilingual newspaper here in California, up in Santa Barbara, and I had to, get up to speed on this program that Obama had put in by executive order. And basically, I couldn't believe it. It sounded like just some small thing, but really, it was going to immediately give people legal status. It was about like 7 million people or something. It was a lot of people. And for that not to be legislated by Congress was, clearly an overstep. But and then I talked to some immigrants who were here, they entered illegally, and they were extremely disappointed. They were actually very mad at Obama because they thought, well, why aren't you powerful enough to do this? So what did you think? Anyway, I talked to Grijalva, and the only thing he said was, oh, we need sensible immigration reform. And it's the Republicans' fault for not, passing sensible immigration reform. We've tried many times, and so that's why, this needed to happen. But, that was a long time ago in terms of politics. And I had actually covered covered illegal immigration in Georgia, not at the border, but in Georgia. And I didn't really quite understand just how ill-informed and how basic and just a talking point that really was, until I saw Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton at one of their debates, and all they talked about was families not being separated. And I'm like, well, of course we don't want families separated, but I mean, there's so many other things and factors that go into this. So what, can you comment about that? How brain dead they seem?
Well, Raul is a person who is have a lot of demons, they follow him. The first problem that Raul has is, he's a chronic alcoholic. So Raul is, by 8, 10 o'clock in the morning, he's absolutely drunk. He's not present he's not present in the district. He cannot even drive anymore. I don't know the reason. I don't know if he lost his. In the past he did. They covered up a lot of that things that he does. I noticed that he's not driving anymore. He got somebody driving for him. Maybe this is one of the so many times he's been caught driving drunk. But Raul is, he's never there. He's never in the community. If you walk the communities like I do, that's what I was telling you. I'm living, in a few hours going to Tucson. I go to the heart of especially the Latino community, which is 65% of my district in Tucson. And I walk that area where, he was very powerful. And I said, in the last 20 years, how many times have you seen Raul? How many times, he's, have a meeting with you or say, we're going to do a town hall and let's talk about the issues. I do have a group of, like you talk about DACA students coming and talking to me. And I said, well, let me tell you what he had done for you. He got 8 years with Barack Obama. He's in Congress. Now they have 2 years, with Biden. Where are the bills from Raul Grijalva to have real serious immigration reform? What that immigration reform start with securing the border. We must secure the border. Let's secure the border first. And after we talk about what we are going to do, I believe, first thing we need to do after secure the border, send anybody with criminal record back to anywhere you came, because you know, people believe this is against Mexico. I stand up in Yuma, and Mexicans are a small minority of the people coming. You have people coming from Europe, you have people coming from Colombia, Haiti, you know, Venezuela, and I understand people coming from Venezuela. But the Mexicans, you know, India, Georgia, Russia, Ukraine, there are people coming all over the country, and we don't even know who that people are.
Yeah.
Do they have criminal record? They're escaping. They have a meeting with people from El Salvador. They work for President Bukele, because a big push he's doing against, you know, MS-13 and Maratruchas. A lot of that people are escaping and coming into America.
Oh, so they're cracking down on MS-13 down there, and now people are coming back up.
Yeah, they are coming here. So you see a lot of them coming this way. So let's secure the border. We don't need criminals here. You know, we have good people waiting in line for years to come into this country, and they're not willing to break the law. They're waiting, you know, whatever is happening to them, they're, you know, suffering persecution, economic depression from the countries they're coming from, but they're still there. They're still waiting there. And the people that's been here 10, 15, 20 years working, they have a family, they don't commit crimes, they don't have DUIs, they you know, they're not stealing from other people. It's no solution for the people, you know, it's more people coming, and, you know, well, we grant political asylum to anybody, or, you know, we don't even grant political asylum, which has, you know, process that application. You know, the court days they are giving in Arizona is 6 years from now. So that guy is going to be floating here for the next 6 years without even having a court date. And I think that's what they are trying to do now, is overwhelm the judicial system, because, you know, to the poor people, you need to put them in a deportation process. You need to take it to court. And how you're going to, you know, how you're going to, you know, process 4 million people that came in the last 24 months.
Oh, I know. It was already a backlog under Trump that he was trying to reduce. I have a question, though. When you say you would remove anyone with a criminal record, does that include illegal entry?
I don't know. You know, if you do that, you will have like 25 million people going that way. And it's you know, immigration is, you know, and I don't know if you know this, but, you know, as an activist, 2012, 2013, I created my own nonprofit organization. You know, I work with Fair Numbers USA in Washington, you know, talking about the immigration issue and the border security issue. It's very complex. You know, you can be sitting in Washington or be sitting in, you know, Oregon, and say, oh, I don't want, but these communities, especially in the border communities, are so close, and they work together, and, you know, it's very hard to define how you're going to do that, you know, because if you go, for example, into Yuma or Mexicali, you had thousands of people. They come every day, they work, they go back. You have Americans, they go into Mexicali and Nogales, you know, every day to work in Mexico, and they come back. So the interaction between the two communities is huge. You know, there's, you know, it's a political border between them, between us. But, you know, these two communities work very close. So, you know, my position in 2012, 2013 is, oh, like, you know, everybody who broke the law should go back home. And, you know, because I was just a fresh citizen, and I'm still a fresh citizen, 10 years. And for me was, how you're going to hand out to people what it cost me 10 years of my life. You know, I've been working so hard for my citizenship. You always get, oh, if you get a felony, you are going to be deported immediately, and we take your green card away. If you do this, if you get 2 DUIs, we are going to deport you. And now you're just going to do a blank amnesty to anybody. It doesn't matter what they did. But, you know, it is a normalization of the process that, you know, coming into America is not breaking the law anymore. Basically, by the book, it is. You know, it is a felony to, you know, it's a felony.
Right. So well, it is complicated, isn't it? It's very complicated. Yeah. So, oh, speaking of entering legally, I have a friend or a critic. He's an immigration lawyer now, but he's very steeped in the talking points, you know, and doesn't see what I've realized. and says, well, it's racist to say that you should come here legally because they have quotas and limits. Can you describe your experience coming here legally, what it took, and what you think of that statement?
Well, basically, we need to define why we have immigration laws and why the immigration system exists in America. It doesn't exist to protect people coming in. It doesn't exist to protect, the national security of the American people, to protect their jobs, because, if let's say I'm a blue collar worker and I'm working for $20 an hour, and you go and bring 500,000 people that are going to be competing against me, so basically you're killing my way of life. So
Right.
that's the reason we have an immigration system, to protect national security and to protect American citizens. That's a reality why we have an immigration system. So
Right.
if you're going into a situation where you are going to allow everybody to come in here, what they give you that right? Just because your country is poor, just because your country didn't listen to capitalism,
Right.
was sold out to socialism, and now you found out after 20 years that you went with the wrong politician, the wrong policies, you destroy your country, and now you say, okay, I'm going to dump everything and I'm going to another country, and I'm going to keep thinking in the same way I was thinking in the country I came from. So, America does around 1 million citizenship a year, what is bigger than what any other country around the world does. Million citizenships. Yeah, and I also believe the immigration should be related with economy. I remember when Obama was trying to pass this blank amnesty without border security, without anything. It was a time where we had 7-8% unemployment rate. Foreclosures. The Americans were losing their houses, and there was no jobs, no prosperity. We are in the middle of that recession, and now you're going to tell American people, I don't care about you anymore. I'm going to take care of this other problem here. So, I understand the process is long. I do believe the process, it should be long, because you need to not only acquire that legal status or your citizenship. You need a process where you assimilate to this country. And I understand that, why America is America, right? And that was a process in the past was easier because you were coming, let's say Italians when they came, Irish people they came, especially Italians and people didn't speak English. You need to get, okay, I start working in construction, I want to be a foreman. Well, you're not going to be a foreman if you don't speak the language. You're not going to be able to be integrated in your communities if you don't understand them. So it was that force that was pushing you to assimilate to this country, to understand why this country think differently, maybe in the way you think when you come in. So, and that was my process too. I came to America, I came to Kentucky, and it was, sometimes very hard for me to understand the way of thinking of some of the people there. It took me years to understand, every country in Latin America is a big government country. So every time you see a problem, you say, oh, the government should do this, the government should do that. And I was in Kentucky, and a lot of libertarians, a lot of conservative people, and were coming to me and said, no, the government doesn't need to get into my life. I was looking to them and said, really? So
that's what freedom is.
Yeah, exactly. But you don't understand that. So that assimilation process needs to stay. And now it's not there. Now you have people like Omar, who get into Congress, and she got everything.
Right.
This country saved your family. This country gave you an education. This country put you in Congress. There was people, they were so open that you can be in Congress and represent, even when you are not born over here, and you tell people there's not opportunity here. You said this is a racist country. They hate everybody. Give me a break. Yeah,
it's really unbelievable. It seems like every other country in the world has the ability and is allowed to regulate immigration to one degree or another, at least more than we do, supposedly. I remember hearing about in the 1930s when the Great Depression hit, I remember hearing, oh, well, America was racist because then they just kicked out all the, all the migrant workers and the workers who had been here for a while, and that's so racist. Um, and so to me, I was always like, well, how does that all fit? And I realized, well, this country had elites back in the 20s who reawakened racism deliberately. I mean, at the
Mm-hmm.
heights of power. And so, yes, that was there. But we gradually brought ourselves out of that. We had John F. Kennedy starting the Civil Rights Act,
Mm-hmm.
and Lyndon Johnson probably reluctantly finishing the job. But thank God for all the Republicans who voted for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You
Well, there
know?
was
And,
percentually, it was more Republicans than
yeah,
Democrats voting for the
right.
civic rights bill, and we didn't filibuster that. The Democrats did, and the
Yeah.
Democrats, they support this. This party should know that
Hmm.
the Democrat even filibustered the civil rights bill.
Yeah, they filibustered it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. And then, people say, well, the parties switched, and then you talk about the Southern strategy, and it's just these talking points again and
Yes.
again and again, and the media spouting the talking points so that even if you talk about anyone's jobs being taken away, then all of a sudden you're racist and you're xenophobic.
Oh yeah.
Xenophobic. What I'm sure you dealt with that over the years a lot.
Yes. Yeah. 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 Absolutely. I deal with that in Kentucky, in Texas, and here. The difference, that I see now is the communities are changing. The communities, I don't believe, especially Latino community and the Black communities,
Mhm.
what they like to call as a minority. Well, in my district, we are not a minority; we are the majority, and we are realizing that these just are talking points. They don't produce better jobs. They don't produce
Mm-mm.
security. They don't produce better education. They don't produce future for our families. They are against our family values. So
Mhm.
we are waking up from that. We see, well, I get this a lot. I don't like the orange guy who was running the
Right.
country from 2016 to 2020, but yeah, we are doing a lot better. I
Yeah.
got a confrontation with a guy the other day, a Latino guy in Tucson came to me and said, you need to stop acting like a redneck and being a Republican. You cannot be a Latino being a Republican. I said, let me ask you. I said, why are you saying that? Because the Republican Party is racist. Okay, let me ask you this. How $2 gas is racist? It's $2 gas for everybody, for black, for yellow, for browns, and for whites.
That's
When
great.
it's no inflation and they're jobs for everybody. And he didn't have an answer. I said, I think you are the one who's racist. Also, oh no, I'm not racist. Yes, you are. The comment you're making, and I think our community can see now is so close. Before we are talking about when Ronald Reagan was president 40 years ago, we had a great economics and everything was good. Well, now they see that yesterday. Well, yesterday I was
Right.
able to grill steaks every Friday. I was able to drive to 200 miles to see my mom every
Yeah.
weekend. I was able to send my kids on vacation. Well, inflation took away 30-40% of your salary. And they're realizing that when they go, you buy produce, and the produce is more expensive. You buy meat is more expensive. You buy gas is more expensive. Rents, the rent is going up
Yeah.
crazy here in Arizona. So
Um,
they see that, well, maybe these talking points are not all there. They're just talking points. And
mhm.
when you start explaining them, I say, okay, you need to start looking for people who really represents you, not an agenda. Raul Grijalva is a Saul Alinsky guy. You know,
Is he really?
oh yeah, he's
Um,
an admirer of Saul Alinsky. He's one of the biggest activists for Mecha, and Atlan in the 70s. He was one
Aslan.
of the ones that they want to send all the white people back to Europe, and they have all these crazy radical ideas.
I
So
did not know that. Does he consider
yeah,
himself like the part of the Chicano movement, or
oh
is
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
different?
He was
Okay.
a Chicano, yeah. He was Chicano for La Raza
Not
when
us.
when he was in college. I don't know if you remember, Mecha and Aztlan had that the slogan and policy that says we need to we need to crop we need to seed the education system to get our crops. So that was, we need to get into the education system to change the mentality. So Raul, being an activist, he said, okay, let me run for a school district. And he got into the school district. And after that, said, okay, let me get into the board of supervisor in Pima County. And he got into Pima County. And after he went to college, he never had represent his people. He never listened to the will of the people. And that's what I think Congress is all about. You must represent. I'm not going over there with an agenda who is paid by certain groups to,
Right.
I'm
Right.
going over there to represent the people of my district and find solutions for everybody. It doesn't matter what race, what gender, what age, I'm there. And even if you're a Democrat, independent, or a Republican, you need to find solutions for your people. And Raul has been absent from that. His machine, what basically is people, they've been bureaucrats all their lives, or they've been activists like Regina Romero and, Adelita Grijalva. Adelita Grijalva, his daughter, she started like dad, school district. Now she's in the board of supervisor. And she was planning to take dad's seat until I show up.
My God. It's like a leftist dynasty, huh?
Yeah, it is a dynasty. That's what Raul does. He has his people all over the place. Yeah.
Americans don't really like dynasties. That's one of the things that woke me up. Was like, you're gonna run Clinton, really? And just get us to swallow that? No.
Yeah, they are talking about running her again in 2024. Give me a break. These people,
Give me a break.
Yeah, we need better people. We need new people. And that goes into the Republican Party too. I'm a Republican from the day one I became a citizen. 2 minutes after I became a citizen, I walked downstairs from the courthouse and I registered as a Republican. I've been a Republican, for the last 10 years. But I'm very critical for my party because I believe that, the problem is in both parties. And renovation need to come into our, you look into, into Congress and the Senate, and you have all these people over there. Thank you for your service, you've been, but it's time to go. We need new blood over there. You need people that they can think clearly. They are not corrupt by the lobbies and the PACs in Washington. And the people that, we the people need to put people there that represent us. Because you don't know who everybody there in Congress right now, they're basically activists for somebody, for the left or for the right, for this lobbyist group, this big super PAC. So who is paying your campaign determine who you are going to be over there. In my case, I'm not taking money from lobbyists. I'm not taking money from super PACs. Okay. And I'm very critical about my party, especially in Southern Arizona, because I said, look, you lost for 20 years with this guy who never show up, who doesn't campaign, who is drunk all day. So what it tells you? It tells you that we haven't been, smart enough to renovate the party and represent those communities. We are out of touch. The Republican Party in Arizona is out of touch, and when you have somebody like me coming from the outside, I'm an outsider, but I'm a guy with a great story. I'm a guy who came here. I'm the American dream. I'm a guy who loves this country, who doesn't need to be in politics. I don't need the money. I don't need the salary. I don't need the position. The Republican Party, basically, I never have an interview with Kelly Ward, who is the Arizona GOP chairman. She never called me and said, Luis, I'm interested to know why you're running. I'm interested to know what you stand for. And thank you for running, by the way. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Is that the chairwoman of the Republican Party in the state?
Yeah.
What's her name?
Yeah. Kelly Ward.
Kelly Ward. She never really. So even America First people are not, or is she's not America First, is she?
Yeah. Who knows? Who knows?
I know.
They don't like, so you should not be talking about, look, I need to talk because if I'm going to criticize a Democrat for doing wrong, and I need to look into my house first. It's a lot of cleanup we need to do. It's a lot of renovation we need to do. We need to get, people who really represent. If you're going to get into the bases and being able to take back Southern Arizona from this machine, we need to have people who can really understand these communities, people who are really part of those communities, people who care about those communities. And the party's been out of touch, especially here. Well, we cannot win against Raul. What do you mean you cannot win? This guy is horrible. It's so many
Oh,
things, so many holes in his flag that you can use.
yeah.
You're telling me you cannot do anything about? That's what it's been in the last 20 years. Everybody who run, you talk to them and say, how much the party help you? Nothing. No. Do you get any money? No. Do you get any grassroots help? No. Do you get any
No.
support? No. So
Hmm.
basically, this is a race, and I'm critic about the party, but at the same time, I'm glad that that happened because I was able to build my own movement. I have my own supporters. I'm
Mm.
self-funded basically, and small
Wow.
donors. And we have a movement now that now you have all this group talking to you. Say, I think you're doing something right. We need to sit down and talk about what you're doing. I say, I'm not doing anything extraordinary. I'm just going into the communities. I'm talking with the people, and standing, in grassroots movement, listening to the people, what you want to do, getting the people together and talking to the people and be sure they understand and working for them.
Mhm.
I'm not
Yeah,
working for the
no,
party. I don't belong to the party. I belong to the people.
that's great. Now the
Yeah.
primary is August 2nd, right?
Yeah, I was second. Yeah.
That's soon. Now, uh, how what can you tell me about your opponent? There's a woman in the
Hmm.
Republican side.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a very interesting what happened. So when I decided to run was September, October 2021.
Mm-hmm.
I did have three more guys running. So Josh Pemberton, who is a Green Beret from Yuma.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel, who ran in 2020, he's a retired Marine. He was another guy, Josh, from the U.S. Air Force.
Mm-hmm.
So when we all start running, few months after that, they say, we're stepping down. I think you are a very strong candidate. You have better chances than we have. We are going to help you.
Oh,
So
good.
it was nobody running in the district. Here in Arizona, we do have a petition process. You need to get certain amount of people who sign your petition from your district. The law is very clear in Arizona that whoever signed that petition need to be registered Republican and need to be living in the district you are seeking office. That's what the law
Mm-hmm.
says. So April 4 was the last deadline for present the petitions. We did it earlier, like 10 days before that. We doubled the
Mm-hmm.
amount of petitions. We are in the ballot. Nobody's there. Well, April 5th was the day after the deadline. We opened the Secretary of State page and we found this name, Nina Becker. I said, who is this lady? She never was in any meetings. My volunteers never hear about her. We never hear anybody because all the groups you've been all around. Somebody will call you and say, hey, is somebody here doing petitions for the same seat you are seeking office for, right? It was nobody. So, I started digging into that. I called Shelby Bush. Shelby was, she's with the people of Arizona. She was the one who started all the election recall and everything here in Arizona. And I said, this Nina Becker lady? I said, oh, yeah. By the way, she said, I was a campaign manager in 2020. She was running against George Barnett, who was running against Raul Gallegos. Raul Gallegos is the other, leftists that we have here. Raul Gallegos and Ruben Gallegos and Raul Grijalva
Oh,
basically are
okay.
kind of the
Ruben
same.
Gallegos. Okay.
Yeah, Ruben Gallegos. But she said she's criminally indicted for forging all the petitions in 2020. After that, two doctors declared her mentally ill, and the case is still open. So she said, go to Secretary of State. You have the right as a candidate to request a copy of all her petitions. So we went to Secretary of State. We got the petitions. It was the same situation. All the petitions are the same
Fourth.
handwriting. Yeah, they are all forged. And they are from outside the district. So this is what she did. She registered in 2021 again to run against Ruben Gallegos. So she forged all the petitions with addresses and people from that district. And in the last minute, Secretary of State allowed her to register to run in my district. It's against the law because, the people who signed the petitions need to be from your district. So
How
we
can
started,
how can somebody just make that decision if she's got people from a different district?
Yeah, well, that's Secretary of State run by Democrats. The lady running the Secretary of State right now is running for governor for the Democratic Party.
Oh yes,
So,
yes.
yeah,
She's the one who didn't even get. She didn't even win in 2018 until they had to count like so
yeah,
many more ballots. Yeah, yeah. I forget what's her name.
Kathy Hobbs, yeah.
Right.
Kathy Hobbs, yeah. So, we keep digging. We find probably 45, 50 people over there that we knew, and we called the people, said, "Do you sign the petition for Nina Becker?" "No, I never signed the petition." "Okay." So we took a statement from all the people. We find out that people who signed the back of the petition, you need to kind of notarize a petition, say, "Yes, I did, took this
Yeah.
petition myself."
Yeah.
So we found that one of the persons signing the back has been dead for 10 years. We found the other one is in a nursery home with a
No.
stroke, and he's 87. So we say, "Hey, this is an easy case." Okay, so we decided to take it to the Maricopa County Superior Court. We sued the Secretary of State, we sued the Maricopa County Recorder, and we sued Nina Becker. Nina Becker didn't show up for the court date. Okay, Secretary of State show up, a Maricopa County Recorder show up, and here you go, Maricopa County Recorder, who is a Republican, say, "Oh no, these petitions are valid." "What do you mean they're valid? There's the same handwriting. We have all these statements from all these people saying we never signed this petition. She already did it in 2020. She's criminal and indicted for doing the same." So the judge said, "Well, I'm going to recess for 5 minutes, and I give you 5 minutes to bring the witnesses to court." And 5 minutes, give me a break. So, based on the Maricopa County Recorder report, the judge decided to allow her to be in the ballot. So we look into take it to the Supreme Court here in Arizona.
It'll probably.
Yeah.
It'll be after the primary though.
Yeah. And no, they need to decide that before, but basically we couldn't present any extra evidence or anything. So the Supreme Court is going to look into the case with the same evidence. Basically, the Maricopa County Recorder is validating the signature and saying, "Well, we have 50 people telling you we didn't sign that." And by the way, none of the people who signed these petitions are living in the district. No, she's valid. So, the judge ruled based on the Maricopa County Recorder. She was allowed to be there. We start digging a little bit more into, her financials and all that. She was claiming at that time she did fundraise $750,000, which is a lot here in Arizona. We start looking who fundraised, and she got Jeffrey Epstein, who is dead, he hanged himself, or the Clintons did it. Bill Gates, Vladimir Putin donate to Nina Becker. So, yeah, we start looking, and suddenly Federal Election Commission delete all her records. Okay, so it's nothing there. Now she's zero. She had not fundraised anything, but we're still digging into that. We're going to open secrets, and we found out the organization called SURSH, surcha.org, surcha.org. And I said, who is this group? Who is a PAC who donated $5,000 so that they max out. That's the maximum you can give to a candidate.
Yeah.
And we found out it's a Democrat group, that is very, very radical. It's called the Home for White People for Social Justice. They're basically for defund the police and all that. So this is the BLM for white people, right?
Surge.
It kind of sounds, Surge, yeah. BLM for white people. We keep digging into that. So we found out, Federal Election Commission information that Nina Becker donated to Raul Grijalva less than a year ago. She donated to Mark. Yeah, she did. She donated to Mark Kelly.
Actual rhino.
Yeah, she's a plant. I don't believe even
yeah.
I don't even believe she's a Republican. She's registered as a Republican, but she's a plant to, do whatever. I don't know what the plan was, because she's mentally unstable. She's not doing any campaigning. She's never spoke anywhere. I remember like a month ago, I got an email from her at 3:00 in the morning saying, "Hey, how I can help you defeat Raul Grijalva?" I said, "Well, get out of the ballot. You should not be in the ballot." "Oh, well, I want to meet." And I said, "I have no time to meet you. Who knows if you meet this lady, what she's going to do?" I said, "Oh, she has sexual harassment. Who knows?"
Right.
So, yeah, I never met her. And I don't think she got any chance. The only chance she maybe have is Raul decided to harvest some ballots for her, like they do in San Luis and Somerton. San
Oh,
Luis and Somerton, the 2,000 mules. You saw 2,000
right.
mules.
That's
Okay,
where
well,
uh,
that San Luis and Somerton is in my district, so we need to be watching that. Hopefully, nothing crazy happen. We have a lot of support. Have a lot of people,
good.
voting for us. So yeah.
Good. Yeah. In hearing you talk about your situation, it just reminds me of the same scenario over and over and over where when people bother to take the time to look into something, they find even much more than they even expected. And it's really not that hard. It's just you need to bother to do it. That's how it
Yeah.
is with journalism too.
Yeah.
And
We
speaking of,
find a lot of them. We did found a lot more people in the ballots, Democrats and Republicans, not
mm-hmm,
only Democrats that should not be in the ballot. I know myself, Shelby got into, the leadership of the Republican Party and say, hey, we have all these cases, okay, that we can really take it to court and maybe win. And the party said, we are not interested. We are not interested. I say, what do you mean you are not interested? This is fraud from the beginning, where you have candidates in the ballot that should not be in the ballot. They
mm-hmm,
don't satisfy the requirement from the law to be in the ballot. And, it's like a, normalization where people, yeah, you get, somebody writing 500 names and, because
yeah,
it's, and the reason why, and I love the petition process. It's very hard. For me, it was 6 months on the road. I think we drove close to 40,000 miles just to get the petitions, being in every gun show,
yeah,
walking the communities, doing events all over the place. And I
great.
think that process is great because that's what they give you the grassroots to be into the people, to connect with the people, to talk to the people, to convince them to sign your petition because you can be a good candidate. That's the
Yeah,
reason we had that. And, it's been misused. And, there are people that, there are now companies doing that. They charge you, you call them $20 per signature, $15 per signature. So people making money on these things. And it's so crazy, that for a business person like myself coming into this and I say, oh, wow, this is really bad, but
yeah, it's like a house with termites just infesting it, and it's barely standing. And yet you have the media and the law enforcement covering for it. It's really
yep,
sad.
it is. And you build your skin. I remember when I saw that, I was to the point that I said, man, I should walk away from this. I pray a lot into that. And, and I have a lot of people, they call me and said, we really need you to stay. And you develop that skin, now they can do whatever. And, before I was, people calling me, hey, you need to be careful, the cartels and all this. I said, look, I'm a Christian guy. I don't even carry a gun anymore. And I'm saying, if God want me here, I'm going to be doing what I'm doing. If he doesn't, if something crazy happen, hopefully it doesn't, I won't be able to prevent it. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm going to keep fighting. I cannot lose another country. I already lost one. I lost the country I
Oh
was
man,
born.
yeah.
I
Well,
cannot do it. This is my last stand. I don't have a place to go from here. I have a family. I built a family here. I have a beautiful wife. I have a 18 years old daughter. I want a future for them. I don't want them to leave. And you asked me about go back to talk about the country I was born, right?
yeah.
Uruguay. My father was, and I want to tell you this so you understand why I'm saying this.
Mm.
My father was coming from one of the poorest families in Uruguay, have elementary school education only. With 27, he was in Congress. Okay, so my father was a congressman, was a
Oh,
senator, was vice president. And in '99, he was able to be president of my country for a few days when the
oh,
president
wow.
got sick. So he was a very honorable politician. When he died, he was a guy that we had 35,000 people in his funeral that raised their hands and say he came back with the hands clean. So that's the best legacy I brought for my father. 3 weeks after my father died, I came here. And the reason I'm telling you this is because
Yeah.
I know what radicals can do to your life. In the 60s in Uruguay, we have several Raúl Grijalvas
Mm-hmm.
running. They create a civil war, civil unrest. The military took over. My father was a senator at that time. they blacklist everybody. They didn't care. They were from the right, from the left. All the politicians, they were black, you know, in a blacklist. They took them down. My father needed to flee the country. I didn't see my father for 10 years. When he came back, he was a political prisoner. So when you talk to me about what can happen, I don't want my daughter or your kids, even the kids of Raul Grijalva, or the people who support Raul Grijalva, to go through what I did when I was a child. I don't want that childhood for anybody. And that's the main reason why I'm fighting.
I studied Latin American politics in college, and it's just on my own extensively. And I remember I used to think, oh, you know, I don't know why that, you know, the middle class isn't really strong, and then they either have communists or they have right wing paramilitary, you know, depending on the country and all that. Oh, America's not like that. Well, actually, America is like that. I just never realized it. I mean, it's not. I guess it's not too late, obviously, or you wouldn't be running. But it's a lot more corrupt than I ever thought here.
Yes, for me too. You know, to see the corruption, especially in Arizona, you see money and the laundering, and you know, who knows where the money is coming and who is getting some of the money. All the money is laundered here in Arizona from the cartels, and see how these people move, and they are so out of touch. They just walk away from the people. They just forgot about the people. It's all about, you know, representing this big group who's giving you a certain amount of money. And I'm not saying that the money people and the investors should not have a say in our societies. Of course they do. You know, you cannot create jobs without investment. You cannot create, you know, I'm a capitalist, but I don't believe in cronies. You know, I believe in free markets where everybody have a chance. And, and, you know, I experienced that when I tell people, well, I was able to open 2 businesses from 2016 to 2020. Can I do it now? I was able to do that when Obama was president? Of course not. So I believe in those free markets. I believe in that growing economy. And we need from anybody. You need from the rich people to invest their money and have the trust the economy is going well to invest their money. And you need a worker who is going to say, hey, I'm going to start like Luis Pozzolo as a dishwasher. I'm going to finish owning those companies. Okay.
Can people still donate to your campaign? Sorry.
Can people, they do. Yeah, they do.
Should they go to your website?
Yeah, they do. LuisForCongress.com. They can donate to me, and I get a lot of small donations, and a lot of people here in Arizona that they are supporting my race.